a lot of it depends on where you are in your life. I'm much older. Well, I'm 20 some years older than you guys. Well, 14, 15. I'm in my 50s. I'm early 50s. So early on in life, I never really thought about death. Now, it was happening around me. And when it happened, at a young age, when I was in my teens or whatnot, and I saw, I grew up in an inner city and I saw people get shot or killed or whatnot. And it affected me then, but it was always like, okay, well, tomorrow's another day. That's not going to be me. It's not, it was almost like I wasn't vulnerable. I didn't feel that vulnerable back then when I was young. And it wasn't until I started to get into my later 40s and to the time today where as you get older, you start to see people that you're close to pass away, whether it be through natural causes, cancer or whatnot. As you age, I'm watching my mother and her friends pass away. It becomes more of a common theme. So you're starting to see it that way. So you don't feel that invincibility that I felt when I was 20 some years old, 30 years old. I know, and I've told you guys, I was in the shower with my 4-year-old son months back, and it was in the heart of COVID. And I looked down while I was showering and looked down at him, and I thought, man, I only have I had this, my little dude at a late age. I probably got 25 good years with him. And that's the type of mindset you start to have as you get older, because death becomes a reality. It's real. And when you're younger, you just feel like I got so much runway. Mm-hmm. And I think that's part of it for me is, at a younger age, I just felt like I'm invincible. I can get through things. It's not on the forefront.
Yeah. I think a lot of it has to do with life experiences as well. I, like you at a young age, death was not something that I dealt with much. I lost grandparents and, kind of the very typical type of encounters with death. Now my wife, on the other hand, she had a very different experience. Mm-hmm. She lost her older sister when her sister was 11 to cancer. And so her family's outlook on life is very, very different. Mm-hmm. In a very short time, and this is, I'll reference this a little bit later, but in a very short time, an 11-year-old lived life to the fullest. And while battling cancer for 6 years, 6 of her 11 years, majority of her life, she battled this. But they looked at life as a celebration. Mm-hmm. They looked at, okay, what are we going to do while we're here? If my sister can make this much of an impact, still 22 years later, people are still coming up and saying, oh my gosh, the impact that she made on my life, it still impacts me. Mm. So it's very different. So my wife's family, it's like, okay, hey, live every moment. Love every moment. Tiff is very much like, I don't see why you stress so much. I don't see why you let all the life things bog you down and bring you down. She's like, enjoy every moment, because it truly is a gift from God, because it can literally be taken away. Whereas I didn't live that way. I didn't grow up that way. I didn't see it. And so I think life experiences are a big part of it. And then also too, I think, whatever your spiritual standing is, where you are, here's a reality. And my reality is that I say that I don't fear death. Yeah. I really don't think that I do, because I know where I'm going. Right. But there's still fear. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so I can only imagine how much fear would be associated with death if I didn't have the faith that I have.
Right.
And if that's the case, then there's no way I'm thinking about it. I'm going to avoid death at all costs, because it's final at that point, and this life that I know is done. Get that out of my mind. I don't want to deal with it at all. But I think depending on your spiritual and your spiritual background and where you are, I think that has a lot to do as well with perspective, because if you read in the Bible, right, it is something that you look forward to, because on the other side of it, it's even better. I can't imagine living life with the burden of like the finality of death.
Yeah.
And everything is on me, and I have to carry all these burdens, and I have to, everything that I get and get to experience in this short little time is on me. And I don't know, to me, those two are really impactful elements, I think, and when you look at death and how you address death.
Yeah.